Businessman, one of Nigeria's foremost financial institutions, First Bank Nigeria Limited, is facing allegations of financial misconduct following claims that 550 million naira belonging to the Abia-based businessman Dr. Eke Agbai has gone missing from the bank's system. Dr. Agbai has taken legal action against the bank, demanding the immediate return of his funds, interest accrued over the years, and 1 billion naira in damages. The case marked HU 233-2024 is being heard by Justice U.D. Enwereji of the Abia State High Court in Umuahia and has been adjourned to May 15th. Speaking to journalists, the plaintiff's lawyer Ebuka Nweze described the situation as deeply troubling, accusing the bank of mishandling the fixed deposit which was allegedly made over a decade ago to support the continued presence of its Abaribe branch. According to Dr. Agbai, the controversy began when he discovered an unauthorized withdrawal of 55 million naira from his account in December of 2023 while he was in Abuja. Although the funds were later refunded, the incident prompted him to demand the liquidation of his fixed deposits, an amount the bank allegedly now claims is untraceable. Agbai stated that the deposit was made following the personal appeal by the then group managing director Elder Eke Agbai as part of efforts to sustain the branch. I deposited this money in trust and now I'm being told it doesn't exist. This is a grave breach of faith, he said. He also accused the bank of having a history of financial irregularities and called for a full-scale investigation by regulatory bodies like the Central Bank of Nigeria and EFCC. If First Bank can't account for my fixed deposits, what happens to ordinary Nigerians? This case is bigger than me. It's about institutional accountability, Agbai added. Many times you see people go to the bank over missing funds. A colleague of mine recently had a problem with, $1,000 missing just like that from the account. What are your thoughts on this report?
Well, my thought is the usual thought that we have about our country. Because
do we have a usual thought?
Yes, we have a usual thought about our country.
Okay.
That the system, all spheres of the system, they are corrupt. From judiciary to politics, executive, legislature, the industries, companies. Nigerians are very corrupt people. And the funniest thing is that the way we go about religion, you look as if we are such a people that are discussing with God every day. Otherwise, things like this, how can somebody deposit money in the bank and you say the account does not exist? Which country do you hear that kind of story? It's only in Nigeria you can hear such story. I saw one video some time ago. They display some kind of turkeys. Those turkeys without hair in their body, with the long neck. And the man was saying that they asked the man, say, this turkey, and he looks very ugly anyway. And they said this turkey is not for Europe. It's not for Europe consumption. It's for Africa, Nigeria in particular. That was what the Igbo man said. That this kind of turkey is for Nigeria in particular, because we embrace everything. We have no sense of rejection that this thing is wrong. Let such news be found in us. We have no such sense. So that you have this kind of story, somebody deposited, like the background story there is that you want to sustain the branch. Because if a branch does not have a particular volume of money, it will be closed down.
Right.
And people within that vicinity wanted to retain the branch, so that their people can have easy access to banking and deposit and withdraw and all that. And somebody brought such money to your bank, and you are telling stories. What kind of story is that? It's because of the kind of environment we find ourselves. That is where you can hear this kind of story. It's a criminal offense, very criminal. So people that are responsible should be well prosecuted. But unfortunately, we have a country, as we have already noted severally, that when a case involves a big man or big men, we don't know how it ends.
But this man, for him to, he's a big businessman, to have that amount of money to have put into a bank at the time. So, if this can happen to this man, what is then the fate of common Nigerians?
That is what we are saying. Because he's a big man, this matter will be handled. Even the court will handle it with care.
But he did say the matter is beyond him.
Who says the man himself?
All right.
No, when he said the matter is beyond him, simply means that he is not in position to decide what should be as far as this matter is concerned. Those people who are in charge, who should decide the appropriate, take the appropriate decision. So he is now looking on to them to do the right thing. So it doesn't mean that he doesn't have the muscle to pursue his case the way he wants to pursue it. But you have a system that can double cross you anytime, you know, if you are not strong enough. So it's an admittance that our society is very bad. And those of us in government, those of them, let me not include myself because I've never been there, those of them in government that are in privileged position, especially the court and government, you should see your position as a service to society. But that has not been the way they do it. They are always very selfish. And I don't know whether they have a sense of death, that one day they will just die and leave everything behind. You know, otherwise, a man who has billion in his account, what are you going to do with it? What are you going to do? This money you are having, your children are also having their own. Like the president today, he said he want to keep money for the child or for the children. The children are already millionaires themselves. What are they going to do with your money? But we do not have such kind of thinking, such kind of evaluation where we are doing things in this country. I know a man here who had a building here in Port Harcourt from Delta State. At a time, he want to relocate back to Delta. And he has a very mighty building and all that. And he said he want to sell it. I said, what about your children? I said, they are grown. They are grown. Any of them will say will not go with him to Delta. You go and rent a house in Port Harcourt. He will not leave his property for his children. He go to sell it. They should fight for their own. He fought for it. So they should fight for their own. So eventually the man sold the property and relocated back to Delta. So, but these politicians, they don't have that sense of judgment at all. They want to acquire and acquire and acquire and acquire, not minding what the other people are feeling. How can you have this kind of story that somebody put money in your care? Not just individual, so to say, a bank, for that matter.
Now, you know, many people, everybody, you, me, we all put our monies in the bank. We all put our monies in the bank because we trust the bank to protect our interests, right? This case is not the first of its kind. It's not an isolated case. I mean, this has happened to many people. I myself, I think that a few years ago, some amount of money was erroneously or for whatever it was disappeared from my account. So even though it's not you can't count it close to what we are talking about now, do you think that is because the systems in place haven't punished prior cases similar to this? I mean, money can't just disappear into a vacuum, right? Do you think that is because there are no amplified cases where someone takes money from someone's account, when the investigation is done, they crack? Because from the report, the man did say the 55 million naira that was taken was now refunded, and even though there was no follow-up investigation carried out. Now, do you think these debt tracks have made these matters more worse and more amplified than the way it's supposed to be?
That is it. If I will use because sometimes we use spirituality to explain physical matters.
Okay.
The Bible said, spare the rod and spoil the child. Where discipline is not implemented, people will do things in their own way. I've always said it on this platform, that in every society, there should be a standard of living that every institution and individual must live up to. That standard is what you are going to use to measure whether the individuals are up to date or the institutions are up to date. And anyone who is not living within that standard is severely punished. But we don't have that in this country. Look at the whole of Port Harcourt. Everywhere smelling. I don't know whether you are noticing it. You just drive from here to Choba. New place is smelling. And you have visitors coming to a place like this. Modern world. Look at what they are seeing in our environment. And those clearing the road, you see, you just go there. No care for them. Ordinary hand. With all these things smelling all over. Ordinary hand. No protection for them. And how much do you pay them? You pay them peanuts because they have nothing doing. They see manage it, something you inhale and you fall sick, you die, go. Other people will come and do the job. It's the system that we have. It's very bad. It's satanic as far as I'm concerned. You have people in government who don't care about their citizens. Why are you in government? This situation you said now, somebody just told me a similar story about a bank in Uniport few months ago, and money disappeared, as you said, from a lady's account. And he reported to the brother, who was a lecturer somewhere. And because the lady now didn't know how to go about it, so the brother took it up and went to see the manager, who incidentally a woman. And the woman said, I have no time for you, no time for you. Just wave the young man off. I said, sure. Is that the way you want to treat me over my money? And a petition to the police. And police invited them. He could not give good explanation. And he was just crying according to the story.
She was crying.
He was just crying at the police station. And the police station said the police officer told her that if you had responded to this man to look into the issue, this cry you are crying now, would you have cried this cry you are crying? You know? So that is it. A system that does not punish crime. Crime will continue to multiply. That is what we are seeing in Nigeria. Nigeria does not punish crime, especially when involve big institutions, big individuals, because in this country, individuals are bigger than the country. Institutions are bigger than the country. And that is the problem we are having. Otherwise, you can't hear it in America that the money you put in a bank, if any report like that should come out, it immediately will be traced at where it entered into. Or in Europe, you can't get that.
Right.
And wherever that money disappeared to, must come out.
Must come out.